A man sent his daughter to buy insecticide, popularly known as Snipper, and by the next morning, 3 children had no parents, while a blind neighbor almost lost his life without knowing why. This happened on Thursday, January 8, 2026, in River Valley Estate, Ojodu Berger, Lagos State. Mrs. Ganiyat lived in one of the flats with her 3 children. She was married to a man named Ayoola, and to outsiders, their home looked normal. In the same compound lived an elderly man who could not see. Because of his condition, a young housemaid stayed with him to help him cook, clean, and move around. She has been there long enough that everyone knew she was his guide and support. Mrs. Ganiyat was kind to the blind man. She sometimes bought food for him and helped out when the housemaid was busy. There was nothing strange about it, just a simple kindness that did not raise suspicion. That Thursday evening, Ganiyat had not yet returned home. His husband Ayoola was inside the flat with the children and everything looked calm from outside, but in his mind something was already wrong. At some point, Ayoola asked his young daughter to go and buy insecticide, the type commonly known as Snipper. He did not explain why, and the girl did not question it because in many Nigerian homes, children run errands every day. She collected the money and left. A couple of minutes later, Ayoola walked into the blind man's apartment. The housemaid was inside and was surprised to see him. Without wasting time, he asked her if she had seen his wife with another man. The question caught her off guard, but she answered immediately and told him no. She further explained that the only reason she saw Mrs. Ganiyat often was because she helped the blind man and there was nothing else to eat. Ayoola left without saying much, but minutes later he returned. This time his voice had changed. He offered the housemaid money and asked her to leave the blind man alone that night. Then he said something that made her very uncomfortable, warning her that he was about to do something bad to the blind man and that if she stayed around it might affect her too. Fear rushed through her, but she could not abandon a helpless man, so she refused and stayed. When Ayoola's daughter returned with the insecticide, he collected it and quietly kept it aside. Not long after, Ayoola asked the housemaid to come and sit in his apartment for a while and watch his children, saying he needed to speak privately with the blind man. Trusting him, she agreed. A couple of minutes later, the housemaid returned to the blind man's apartment, but something felt wrong. The air smelled sharp and uncomfortable, and she thought there might be a leakage from the cooking gas cylinder, so she opened windows to let fresh air in. What she did not know was that Ayoola had poured insecticide into the pot of stew meant for the blind man, and the only reason the man survived was because he never ate the food. Later that night, Mrs. Ganiyat came home. No one knows what was said between her and her husband or what she noticed in his eyes, but moments later a scream filled the compound, one that carried fear and pain. The housemaid ran outside and saw Ayoola attacking Ganiyat, his wife. At first, she thought it was a normal argument until she saw the knife and the amount of blood all over the place. Even in that condition, Mrs. Ganiyat managed and escaped the house. She staggered out of the compound and reached the street crying for help before collapsing. Neighbors rushed to her, and as blood soaked her clothes, she struggled to breathe. With the little strength she had left, she told them that her husband had attacked her with a knife. She was rushed to the hospital, but the injuries near her lungs was too severe and Mrs. Ganiyat was pronounced dead shortly after arrival at the hospital. People around immediately called her brother and informed him of his sister's demise. When he arrived at the hospital, he met his sister's neighbors crying. Without wasting time, he immediately went to the police station and lodged an official complaint. The police immediately swung into action, but before the police could make an arrest, Ayoola had disappeared. On Friday morning, news came from Ogun State that a man was found in an open field struggling to breathe. It was Ayoola. He was rushed to the hospital but did not survive, and investigators later said he took his own life. Near him were his personal belongings, 2 mobile phones and a bottle containing liquid suspected to be a poisonous substance. In less than 24 hours, 3 children had lost both parents. As neighbors spoke afterwards, painful truths began to unfold. Mrs. Ganiyat had been suffering quietly for years. She once found the courage to leave the marriage and even secured another place to stay. But people advised her to endure, to think of the children, and to remember that marriage is not easy. She went back, and that decision cost her life. What haunts many people is not only how she died, but how close innocent people came to dying too. The blind man had nothing to do with the conflict, yet his life was almost taken in silence. This tragedy did not happen suddenly. It grew from suspicion, control, silence, and ignored warnings. If Mrs. Ganiyat had been supported when she tried to leave, the story might have ended differently. If fear had been taken seriously, 3 children would still have parents today. Somewhere, those children will grow up with questions no one can fully answer, and many people watching this may begin to see how dangerous it can be to ignore warning signs. At what point did you think this could have been stopped? Share your thoughts in the comments. Also, do not forget to like and share this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on the notification button for more true crime stories. Please do stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next episode.
All the children, they come in, they go out, they were here. look television. She wanted, when I want to buy something, I take my girl.
There was one time she called me and she told me that I should come to the house, that she's very sick. When I got here, I saw bruises all over her neck, She was beaten blue black. That was like last year, August. And I told her, I said, are you going to continue like this? And she said she tried to go and look for an apartment, that she even found one, that her husband's sisters are abroad, that they said she should not go and look for another house.
So she called me that her husband has stabbed her. Now she started coming. I'm like, stabbed? What happened? Why would he stab her? So I started coming from the island. My office is at Ikate. So I had to rush down to the hospital. Getting to the hospital, she has passed already before I got to the hospital.